And there we go. All right, welcome to page 4.
Exciting.
It's fitting.
We're like a quarter of the way through now. Is that right?
Is it
Oh,
total?
No,
almost,
almost. Yeah.
Wow.
After
See?
page
That's
4, I
perfect.
I
guess.
think.
16 or 18 pages. I can't remember exactly.
Got it. And last time we had a few open questions on this particular dative, and before that on imperatives. Do we need to go over any of those, or are those, is everybody caught up? The discussion was in different channels on Discord. I mean, if nothing else, I'd like to point out
I thought we decided we didn't really know, but
for the dative, yeah, you're right.
yeah, for the dative, but
So there's this thing in Coptic where, at least in Hieratic, whenever you say she to go, you put a dative behind it. Like, for example, in this case, Jacob went himself, af she naf.
enough.
So that's a thing.
I was very impressed. I went looking for the Sahidic version of that, and we don't have it. It's one of the few verses that's missing.
Ish. And I don't know if you do that in Sahidic. I've been lately reading a lot in the, well, a lot is an overstatement, but when I read Coptic, I read the Hieratic Bible just to see how far I can get.
Yeah.
And it's like pretty much in every chapter, there's at least one she enough in there. They say it all the time. And they do it for the same verb in like, for example, I will go myself, shemitni.
Interesting.
Or here the same, like he went himself, shemitnef. So Lady Egyptian does that a lot too, although it is not obligatory, I think. That's why we couldn't find it last time. They do it, but you don't have to do it. That said, the other theory we had last week, I think both Ralph and Kevin, you had proposed that it could just be like a way to address somebody in an imperative. That's also true. So.
And would that be the reflexive? Is that how they term it?
Like reflexive, you mean?
Yeah. Is that what they call it?
I mean, both would be kind of reflexive, wouldn't they? Actually, I don't know what you want to call this. Here he calls it, hang on. Here he calls it reflexive or ethical dative. Dream yourself in peace, or sleep yourself in peace, I should say. Leave him alone to yourself, well, we would say to himself, I guess. But so it somehow refers back to the person that you're addressing. And then to Ralph's point, in our sentence, it was both. It was a verb of motion and it was an imperative. So which one of the two is it? In my mind, no way to tell.
And it doesn't matter because we kind of know the meaning, right?
I can barely hear you. Say it again.
Oh, sorry. It kind of doesn't matter because we know the meaning.
Exactly. And it's definitely a thing. So we got that. Then the other thing I wanted to point out, just, I love this creation by Kevin.
That was awesome.
My Coptic isn't as far along as the rest of y'all, so follow me or something like that, or
So
come with me.
Amu is come in the imperative, and mu is die or death.
Come death. Okay.
Or-
Very nice.
Or it's die.
Bye.
Come
Yeah, die.
and
Come
die.
death.
Die.
Nice.
Yeah, but it's punning too. Yeah.
That's
The
cool.
Or
reason
it's an important distinction, except if you're that guy. And it kind of means the same thing.
Right.
He's already dead. Okay. I see.
That's right. When death can say that, no one else can pretend
Right.
those words mean the same thing.
The reason that one came about was because it's kind of like, wait, where was that again?
Well, Amu is a special imperative form, whereas normally you just use the infinitive for the imperative in Coptic.
Exactly. There are a few of those, like anau from now to see, awon from one, open, aji from jo to say. And the nice thing is, like, for example, aji actually has like a little yod in late Egyptian. And so then you think Amu, oh, does Amu have a a yod in Egyptian, in Late Egyptian, it doesn't. That's the weird thing. And the one that does, the word for to give, where we write like yod my, that one doesn't have one in Coptic. So they're like exactly reversed, the opposite of what you think. And so we were trying to figure out why is that, and oops, one possible reason could be, so they're basically backwards. If you look at kam, amu, no yod in front at all. It's just spelled like me.
Interesting.
And if you look at to give, that one always has a little yod in front.
Interesting.
But that one becomes ma in Coptic. And then I think Kevin pointed to what the reason might be. If you go back to Middle Egyptian, kam's already spelled like this, oops, without a yod. And if you look at give, it already has it in Middle Egyptian. So maybe it's just conservative orthography that's already divorced from how people pronounce it, possibly. So didn't solve the problem, but at least you pushed it back to Middle Egyptian, so it's out of scope. No,
That's awesome.
There's some weird things going on where this imperative yod also shows up in the Old Kingdom Egyptian text, then goes away in Middle Egyptian and reappears in Late Egyptian. So there's something going on there, and I think that's one of the key pieces in that Alan mentions as evidence for different dialects of Egyptian, that could indicate that some dialects had it and some didn't. But yeah, in any case, the key thing here is if you were to drop it in Coptic, the meaning changes a lot, so you don't want to do that.
Okay. That's really cool.
With that being said, should we dive right in?
Right. So just to follow up, Cherny and Grawl in 24.6.1 calls it the reflexive dative, but they say it's just emphasizing the imperative sense. So it's optional, but you can put it in to make it stronger or something.
I'd go with that.
And where is that in Cherny and Grawl?
It's page 350 at the bottom.
350. Okay. I'll look at it later. But...
This is the moment where I would say I've only read to 340, damn it. Maybe on that note, this one here is still a mystery. I said last time I was going to look for more examples in the thesaurus, and there are only those 2 lines from the Hekanacht letters which actually fit, where it says something like Cher wa'atev by itself, or by itself. And then there's something from a Ptolemaic text. So like 1,000 years later, basically after this, and in between nothing. It's always either stative, which would simply be wa, or maybe wat later, but without an F, or it's things like Weisen, they themselves, but then without a T. So what that thing is, I still don't know, although I think it's an infinitive with a reflexive object. I've asked Christian, but he hasn't responded yet. Shot him a message this morning, like, hey, do you know what that is?
I agree with you. I think that's what it's got to be, because it's, and then just the W is just one of those added W's that doesn't really mean anything.
Or maybe indicates that, yet this is really pronounced. I think it's just to say there's a vowel here. So it's something like watef or something. This lives on in Coptic as wa'a. So Teschime was, I think, the woman herself, but there's no T in there. So that T is still a bit of a, yeah, I don't know. I think it's an infinitive ending.
Okay, so if I were following along in this sentence, it would be UF, so that's generally he, and then the thing that we're wondering about is the Y-E-F.
Yeah, why is there an F there and a T?
So yeah,
and the W.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or is it, I mean, do we know why it's not 2F? Like the direct object pronoun? Like he's not aloning himself?
Well, that's what I was wondering. Yeah.
Wait, but
Is
that
it
would
like-
be direct object pronoun, isn't that so?
The direct object pronoun 2F
Oh, you mean after an infinitive or after
after
a final
yeah.
finite verb?
I can't remember the rules, but like you can't do that after an imperative, but I think you can after an infinitive or whatever the circumstantial construction uses. I guess that's the infinitive.
I think it is. I mean, that would make sense because there's a little t there. It's a weak verb. To be alone is y. So it could get a t before a suffix pronoun. So that all fits together.
So we have
I thought
another
we
option.
ruled that out last week for some reason. 'cause
We
that,
did.
That had been our first thought.
Oh, we did?
But I don't remember why.
I remember ruling it out because I was thinking of it being a subject pronoun.
No,
And it can't be a subject pronoun, obviously.
I don't think it'll be a subject pronoun because we always have the we already have the subject in the EUF. So we
That's why we ruled it out, or that's why at least I ruled out. But I don't know if we thought about direct object pronoun.
We did. No, I'm sure we
Okay.
did.
I think we did.
But I'm asking about it being a direct object pronoun.
Right.
Is there a reason that doesn't make sense?
Is that the transitive verb? Is being alone transitive?
I don't
It
know.
could be.
How do you even find that out? Like, Fusco doesn't give any information like that. It's just a word list.
Right. Isn't that
And I tried looking for examples and I didn't find anything either.
Well, if you
Oh,
think
yeah.
of it of what as isolate, if you think of that verb as isolate, because
Yeah.
we always just translate it as alone, which is not.
And it feels
verb.
like it's more in Egyptian, it's less intransitive than English. It is in English, right?
Right.
Like we have alone and we have isolate.
Right.
Which
Because
is
you can
once-
isolate anyone.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
and then you have an object.
And I mean, that's what it could be. Like he isolated himself. I think that's how the guys on Ramses Online translated it, which was kind of elegant here. And maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, I actually think that we might have thought that last time and we didn't
Yeah.
discount it.
Hey, everything's up for reevaluation every week, right?
That's why we make so much progress.
But it's fun.
Hey, page
it's
four,
fun.
page four. Eyüp He isolated himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how is can you hear my voice now?
It's a bit tinny, honestly.
Okay.
Tinny.
I'm gonna switch to my computer microphone. How about
Ooh.
Yes.
Oh,
That is much better.
that's-
Dulcet.
now you're HD.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
I think we got the meaning, though. I would say let's see what the man says when Christian responds. But should we go to the next one?
Yes, let's move on.
Ralph, you want it?
Not really. I'm looking at this and I remember remembering what these words mean, but
Well, Kevin provided a whole vocabulary list, which I thought was great.
And I can
No,
attempt.
Kevin, wow.
I can attempt if nobody else wants to.
go for it, Peter.
Okay. So I think we're starting with the hair ear. Is that right? Hair
That's right.
ear saw. So I'm not really quite sure what the hair ear part is, but the saw is after. And then iadet after a moment or a while. Ayat, which would be after a long moment or a while. When in, so then, is that right? Are we still going with that sentence? Yeah, I think that's
Yep.
that's the
Mhm.
line. Okay, so yeah, after a long moment or a while, then getting ready for the next thing.
So the next
think-
line is, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think the hair ear is just like particles, like hair is and ear is often introductory concerning, about, a preposition type thing.
Okay,
Um,
cool.
So,
So that's some kind of temporal clause with the particles just introducing it at the sentence level.
Kind of what I was thinking. Yeah, it was just continuing the narrative or something like that. Is what I saw.
So after a great while, the sun hasn't come up for days.
He really wanted to be alone by himself. Yeah.
He's depressed. Can you believe what they said?
I mean, come on. Crazy stuff.
and wait, just to backtrack, who is it again? Who is depressed?
Oh, good.
Is it Ra or Ra Harakti?
I thought it was Raharakti, yeah.
I think I think that's it.
I mean, here said the great God, but a little bit earlier it was somewhere stated it was Raha.
Somebody says Raharakti,
Yeah.
There it
their
is.
shrine is
Yeah.
empty. And
Yeah.
everybody's so horrified they shout at the god who said that, and they all go to their tents, and he has to lie down on his back with his heart very sad.
You got it.
Yeah. Very greatly sad.
Very
When they
much
double
sad.
up, they
Yeah.
double up there. And when they
That's
word.
right.
Like, ooh.
Or
That's right. That's so sad.
Ibju Ahawar. Yes, there we go. It's right there in the middle.
Brutal.
Oops.
Okay. Do you want me to continue or would someone else like to jump in?
If you want to continue, I'd say, why don't we just go to the next thread?
Okay. All right. So I get the juicy bit. Let's see.
No pun intended.
You're allowed to switch to Latin at any point in time.
All right. So
All right. Ain't nobody
uh,
here but us chickens.
that's right. Huth,
What is
let's see. Huthor. So we've got Hathor beginning on the next line. Nebti or Nebet, sorry, lady. I thought this was cool. Thanks for the vocab again, Kevin. Nehet Resi, so South Sycamore. And then we've got hair, which I think was just continuation of the narrative. And then it came. You set, so she, hair, aha. Okay, so I guess I don't have the juicy bit yet. Let's see. Hathor, lady of the southern sycamore, came. She came. And then the red thing that looks very much like aha N is not, it's aha before.
That's before, that's not stand.
Let's stand. Mhm.
Oh, is it stand? Okay,
Yeah.
I thought it was before. All right.
So the active verb is E, like she came,
Mhm.
and then EU set. So when she was coming, she was also standing.
Right, right.
M.
I'm losing sound now. You guys still here?
No, I think we were just quiet for a second there.
Okay, okay.
Observing a moment of silence as she stands.
I was waiting for you to fill in the vocabulary.
Oh, I see.
I've got a little tiny aside. Is that they're using the suffix pronoun and it's spelled ST, but I think it's just pronounced S. It's just S.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they just add the T. Sometimes it's spelled Sue even. Sometimes it's spelled with two S's.
Another late Egyptianism of
Another, yeah.
something. Okay. All right, I can continue. And then aha, so she stood, and then we go embach in the presence of Itzet, or maybe it's just Itse, her father, Neb er Jer, master of the universe, or ultimate master, or something like that.
Yeah.
You,
Universal Lord.
I love Master of the Universe. That's
I
great.
know. I was thinking He-Man there.
That
personally,
He-Man reference, yeah.
but, so then we have you, Se, so and she, Kefit, revealed. Kat, Se, her private genitals, distraction. Oh yeah, so she's revealing her genitals, Se, to F in front of him, Aha, and then Pa, the Necher Ea, great God. Sebet. Oh no, Sebech laughed. M.S. Or maybe it's Im.S. at her.
Yeah, that's the pre-pronominal is the im.
Okay. So yeah,
Yeah,
a lot of interesting things going on there. So
cool. Well done.
So she exposes her privates before or at his face, right?
Mhm.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like her hair, it's not hair isn't the preposition, it's the noun.
No, it's
Because
a.
not-
It's
Oh,
a.
I see.
To
I
his
see.
face. Mhm.
In his face, yeah.
yeah, or
It-
to his face.
As one does.
It's a compound preposition.
That's what it does. Especially
nickel.
when you're so depressed, right? You know.
I can say, I mean, so we know this is a comedy and this is supposed to be funny, but I genuinely don't get the joke. I mean, is it
I
just
don't
funny
either.
because it's so vulgar? Like what? Because this is just uproarious. Like, oh,
It's
that's
like-
hilarious. But what?
I know.
What's the
It's like
joke?
something
I mean,
I'm
I
missing
understand-
something culturally. Yeah.
I understood it as funny the same way it's funny the way the gods are so squabbly. Like, for one thing, the Lord of all creation has been laid low by an insult. And he's so depressed he can't even get up. So it's already ridiculous that like the most powerful God has been slain by this small insult. And then nothing makes him want to get out of bed, and that's bad because Ra's the sun. So like nothing's gonna happen until he gets up again. And so it's a bit weird that it's his daughter. I guess that's an incestuous thing, but Hathor is like the creation god, the mother goddess. And so she reminds him that life is worth living. It's kind of how I understood it. And he's like,
Okay.
all right, maybe I was being a bit much. You're right. I should get up and go on with life.
Right?
I interpret it as a shock, as like going boo or pinching
Oh.
someone's butt or something,
Okay, interesting.
to get them out of their funk.
Yeah, I was reading about it in that mythology book that you recommended, Kevin, and I didn't get anything hugely informative, other than maybe it was like a distraction somehow, or again, getting him out of his funk or something like that. Yeah.
Interesting.
I need like an annotated contendings of Horus and Seth, like give me the cultural context of like, so where's the southern sycamore and why should I care that Hathor is from there? And
A lot of it we don't know. I mean,
Yeah,
a lot
think
of
that's
it.
the problem.
there's-
Is like this is the only source for these things, and
yeah.
Yeah, they're always referencing some commonly known bigger body of knowledge of all the myths and the allusions to, I think I've read a lot about a lot of people trying to interpret why Hathor does that and stuff. And it seems like all conjecture. So I think whatever we think is maybe, as good or as informed as anybody else, I'm sure there's, maybe more educated guesses about it. But
I don't know about southern sycamore. Isn't there a drawing of a sycamore tree suckling like baby Ramses when he's a
I think so.
child?
Yeah.
And it's to show that the gods are nurturing him and bringing him up there.
and sycamores are sacred to Osiris.
So
Okay.
I just came across an article on Wikipedia called Anna Sirma, Lifting of the Skirt. No idea. I mean,
Oh, your search history, Aurelio. My God.
yeah, I don't want to know what terms I used to get to that. But,
What language is that? Is that
Greek.
Sanskrit?
No, I thought the
Oh,
same.
it's
From
Greek.
anything
Oh,
with
and a
so many
Summa.
articles.
Okay.
And apparently, I mean, I just read this as we're going along here. I was not aware of it at all. Wait, but where is it?
Apotropaic affected nakedness. All right.
So at least, I mean, there is a place that you could follow up on this thing, apparently.
So yeah, this is
I
a
take it
stupid-
back. It is funny. Look at that picture.
I mean, yeah.
Right?
It's funny.
This seems like, I mean, they're putting all these esoteric meanings into it. It seems like something that someone just did, and then they later made a justification for it,
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And remind me what apotropaic means. Is it like stopping a curse or something like that? Or
Yeah, that's right. It's pushing away, making bad things move away.
okay.
Yeah, this is the weirdest thing. In other versions of the myth of Demeter, the goddess is received by a woman named Baubo, a crone who makes her laugh by exposing herself in a ritual gesture called anesurma.
Well, there you go. There's your literary connection.
Amazing.
Interesting. Yeah. Wow.
And this was a Ptolemaic era myth, right? Or writing, at least.
Our text or the one that we're looking
Our
at?
text.
Our text is no, that's much earlier, 1,000 years still to go.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ramses'
okay.
New Kingdom.
Ramses IV, I believe. Let me see. When did he live? 1300?
Oh, Ramses IV. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's like 19th dynasty.
Yeah.
18th.
In 19th, I think.
Okay.
And around, I was wrong. No, it's 1100. Much later than I thought, even. So, oops, sorry. 20th. 20th.
Yeah,
Okay.
18th is the interesting one. 19th, Ramses the Great is in, and then 20th is all the Ramses that are copying Ramses the Great.
All the other Ramses, right?
We got a few, yeah. Okay. So that's fascinating. Apparently, this is a thing that
Yeah.
I've never heard of before with the exposing skirt kind of thing. And I wonder how the older, more prudish translations would have covered this, exposing the privates. I think that was a nice attempt.
So probably with Latin, I would say pudenta or something like that.
Yeah.
That's what I've seen.
Normally do, exactly. It's pretty
Yeah.
funny. I was wondering, how do we exactly know what the word means? And then I found that there are at least 2 gynecological papyri. So
Interesting.
medical
Really?
papyri on that topic. Yep. Mhm.
Oh, how
And-
interesting.
Yeah, you can actually find them comparatively easy, I think. There you go. Here's one of them.
Kidding.
And so from context, you can figure out what the words mean, right? Even if you have no surviving Coptic equivalents.
Whoa.
But then when you read the translation, which was made 100 years ago or so, it's really funny. Like every second sentence skips into Latin because, hey, just don't use English for anything.
It's
We
taboo
can't
to say that in
explain.
English.
Really?
Right. Yeah.
Come on.
It's really funny.
I can't remember. There's some romance novel in ancient Greek that was written in the late antique period, and I was trying to track down a translation I found on Tumblr, the original Greek, and it's really difficult because the original Greek exists, and there's this one translation on Tumblr, but all the 19th century versions, like halfway through the novel, they have to switch to Latin because it's getting too risque. And then when they get to this bit about how boys are better than girls, they just don't talk about it at all. They just leave it out.
Oh, boy.
We are weird.
Even Latin was too scary for that passage.
What
welcome
other
to
language
Samaria.
can we use?
The other question that came up, what's that sycamore? I don't know either, although, I mean, the Lady of the Sycamore is a common title, and the Southern Sycamore is a temple of Hathor at, I think it's Memphis.
Okay,
So
cool.
That's a thing.
Is that one of the nomes of, or maybe
was
gnomes? How do
Just
you
gonna
say it?
ask that. I was just gonna ask that.
How do you say that word? Is it gnome or?
You mean the one on the front lawn?
Like the districts. Yeah.
Yeah, the
They had a lot
district,
of
that's what I
gnomes.
mean.
Yeah, I think they're called gnomes.
Okay.
If not, I've been saying it wrong for 20 years.
Whole new meaning. Whole new meaning. I'm gonna always think of the people in the pointy hats on throughout
Right.
Egypt now. You know.
Yeah, I've looked if there's such a thing as an Egyptian gnome, but unfortunately everything they make is like pharaoh kind of nonsense. It doesn't make sense. I'd like to see some real gnomes, but
So for the record, Gardner has that Hathor uncovered her nakedness.
Ha!
Okay. That's
Very
very
biblical.
elegant.
Yeah.
I think there's a footnote about how the original is a little bit more explicit.
But you don't get
English
that
speakers.
translation.
Who's more puritanical than English speakers? Like,
Right.
oh, why do we even have words for these things? We're not allowed to use them.
Right. Indeed.
that is true. Well, there is a list of all the gnomes, and again,
Oh, wait. Southern, scroll down again.
I don't see a sycamore though. Calf and Cowland.
No, no, you know,
Down,
but
down to the
even
Upper
though
Egypt.
Sorry. Want me to go up?
No, got down to the Upper Egypt gnomes.
Yep, on my way.
There, lower
Oh, there you are,
sycamore.
yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Viperland.
I wouldn't like to
Oh,
live
there,
in
Southern
Viperland.
sycamore, number 20, Southern sycamore.
Oh, cool.
Ah,
Okay.
there we go.
So
That must
where-
be where her cult originates, possibly.
Wow. Very
22.
cool.
Or
So
some
we-
aspect of that cult was relevant to this part of the story.
Yeah.
Or like they always say, Osiris, Lord of Jeddu, or Lord of
Yeah,
Abydos.
yeah.
Great find. So it's this one then, I guess, huh? Number 20? Was it?
Okay. So kind of
Oh.
around the
Wahoo.
Fayum.
Fayum.
Sorry. I was trying to go back to my list to make sure I have the number right. Yes. Southern. Oh, there is a northern. So Southern sycamore and northern, 20 and 21. I apologize. Let me go back to this. 20 and 21.
Okay. Kind of around Maydum then. Interesting.
Whoop. Sorry.
Cool. Thank you.
All right. So I think we have the meaning of everything. Any questions or thoughts on grammar, words, whatnot?
I think it's really interesting that all the prepositions and more prepositions coming up are compound prepositions. Are not necessarily two prepositions together, but a preposition and a noun. And then there's the object of that. So I don't think it's like his face. I think it's our, her is like a compound preposition. And then the F on that is the object of the preposition rather than his face. It's like our, her in front of him, you know.
Her, him.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I see.
So you're saying
Oh.
her is a thing? That's a
Do we have a
lexicon?
list of the compound prepositions? I thought somebody posted that recently.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I would love that.
I was looking at Cherney and Grohl, and they don't really have a list.
Oh, Cavalier has one. I'm pretty sure.
Who does?
Cavalier, the Italian guy.
This is the Italian late Egyptian book.
So there's Emba, our, her, our hene, and then I think like daily
Mhm.
is a kind of a compound adverb because it doesn't really have a object.
And then that one about it's a few lines in the future. It's like cried out loud. It's like ash something. or other.
Arsagabu.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
that's a verb and an object though.
Right,
With a
right.
Compound expression or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe it's like idiomatic or something like that.
Yeah. They use it like I
These
actually
all the time.
listed it somewhere. They use it like 17 times in the
Right.
text.
Is that all? Feels like more.
and I was gonna try and see if it was all one god or another god, but no, it's all everybody does it.
Everybody does it. Okay.
They often do it as a group, like the Ennead will Ash Sagabut.
Yeah. Yep.
Arshagabi. Yeah.
Ash Sagabut.
Okay. I post a list of compound prepositions. Interestingly enough, though,
Oh, nice.
not in there.
Oh, really?
Which doesn't mean it doesn't exist, though. Maybe it's under O.
So you're saying our her doesn't exist?
I didn't find it. You know what? Let's do this.
Okay. Is Mba in there?
Should be.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Imbach is in Cherney and Groll too.
Does he have a
Okay.
preposition list?
Does he have a proper list? Yeah.
There's not a proper list, but there's examples of a lot of compound prepositions.
It's like 7, 3, 1
Yeah,
through.
7, 3, all of them.
Yeah. Yeah. He doesn't list them. You got to look through it for it's several pages.
Hersa.
Which is from the beginning of the sentence.
Right.
Here are the ones that Cavalier has.
Nice. Thank you.
So he has Amba in front of. And then he has a second page, which,
Oh my gosh.
there you go.
I just found a weird coincidence.
Which is?
I'll post it.
Oh, and he gives Johnny Groller's bibliography and yoga as well. Look at that.
There's a song about sycamore trees that's played in this room from my backdrop.
Wow.
Ooh, weird.
Cool.
Ew.
And it's great. It's like a really, really good song.
There you go. All right.
But in this, the line that we're talking about, this or her is to his face. The her is face. It's not a preposition in this case, right?
Because her can be a preposition. That's why I thought it was a
can't.
compound preposition.
It can,
But-
but in this, when she's exposing herself, isn't it to his face?
I think, I was saying,
So.
I was
Yeah.
putting forth that it wasn't, that it was to him or in front of him. Like our, her is a compound preposition.
Gotcha.
And then
There we
F
go.
in this case is an object of the preposition rather than a possessive. That's what I was saying. And you're right, it could be either way.
Hmm.
Well, could it? I mean,
and
in
I
late
guess it's-
Egyptian, don't you have to use like paf hair if you want a possessive? Don't we need an article?
No,
Not
oh,
necessarily. Not necessarily.
not with,
Not necessarily. Okay.
yeah,
Not,
not with,
not if it's
as-
an inalienable,
there you go.
the body
Right.
parts,
Ah,
Which faces are.
heart, face, yeah.
And also too, in favor of the possessive, there is a determinative after face, just
Yes.
like his back,
Oh, sure,
divine
sure.
determinative there.
That's a good point, yeah.
Their hair
so apparently
in
it is a
front of-
preposition.
on.
Good. So there's a whole bunch here, actually. Let's see what we have in terms of sentences. Well, no, it's a different papyrus. Okay. Although we're talking about the Ennead again. Yeah, in front of the Ennead, or yeah, before the Ennead.
Yeah.
Site, or however you want to pronounce it.
Mhm.
Wow, I didn't know you could do a search in Ramses too. That's so cool.
That's so much fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, it seems to be a thing. That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Lesko is hair with the determinative as a preposition. So
I
I
mean,
don't know.
the problem
That's
only
sloppiness
arises in
or not.
English, right?
Hmm.
Oh, sorry, Ralph, go ahead.
I was just saying Lesko has hair as a preposition with the determinative.
There you go.
That's cool.
At the end of the day, it's really more of a problem in English, right?
As a
Because-
preposition.
Right. It's kind of the same thing in Egyptian, whether you read it one way or the other.
That's it, right?
Just like two, it could be both one or a passive marker.
Mm.
Right.
Okay.
So then the other thing that's cool is like is so often you can read half the sentence in Coptic if you want to. I mean, Neb is still around, Lord. Luke, Sycamore is still around. Res, do I have that right? Yes, Res is still around. Res, he, is still the verb for to, well, it's the same verb in Coptic. Escher, oche, oche is still around to stand. Embach, oh wait, no, it becomes emach in Coptic. Yotef, Yotes, Nib is there, Der is there. These two are not there anymore. I searched for them, but neither neither the bicycle nor Journey has it.
Not in the Bible.
It's not in the Bible.
There's no Coptic gynecological texts we can consult.
Got to be something.
No Coptic ones, unfortunately. You wonder why.
Yeah.
Oh, and this one I found too. Wait, but what was it? Sobe. To smile or to laugh is sobe. That word's still around too. So sobeimos, you could still say that. Cool.
Hieretologically, I was interested in that. If you go back to, where was it? Oh yeah, so it's down on page 4, line 3. How do you think they created the, what is it? Lost it now. Yeah, the UF Ches. So that would be, I guess, sat or something like that. How do you think they created
this puppy?
That guy? What kind of stroke order do you think they went through? Because it looked like there's kind of a cool down and a, I don't know, it all looks pretty connected, but it could just be because it's written over itself, but.
Tricky. First thought would be, but that's just a first thought. I mean, definitely this comes first.
Yeah.
Do you go straight down? I think I would. Then do this, and then maybe then finish it off with this. So that would be my first thought. But let's see.
Okay.
Are there reasonable alternatives? It could be tap, 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 and maybe that's better. I don't know, because it keeps the left to right, left to right, left to right feel to it. So maybe that's really what it is.
Yeah. And there's never a right to left stroke, right? It wouldn't be possible to write from the horned viper to that bottom line. They would generally work top down, right?
Right. I mean, it would, like, for example, the horned viper, I'm 100% sure you do like first the little horn and then you go this way. So whenever you have like left falling stroke, they go like this. But anything else seems to be fairly consistently. So another one is the Cobra. That one also goes this way. Although you can do this, draw the whole head and then go down. So I think that would probably go that way. The rest goes this way. But all the horizontals are always wherever you can tell. I mean, you can see it really well here by the little.
Right.
It's always something like this.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
So yeah, I think this part is certain, and this part is certain. Just when I think about it, I probably do this left, right, and go down, which goes on against all instincts. If you were to do like Chinese way, do something like this: tip, tip, and then finish it off. Oopsie, can't do this with it.
I think your first instinct was right, because if you look at it, the line across the top looks, I mean, that looks connected to me. It goes across the top and then down.
Yeah.
See, like there's no break there. Yeah, that looks like one stroke.
Yeah.
Judging by the ink.
Okay.
Don't you think?
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, that leaves one last option, right? Going back to the Chinese one, you could theoretically do this, but I always see them go top to bottom. So like what you do in Chinese, you start from the left, right? You do this first, then the angle here, and then you close it off. But somehow that just doesn't I have the feeling it starts from the top, and I can't quite tell you why, but just because of every time we've really done like digging, looking at colors and what's lighter, what's a little bit more gray, what's a little bit more dark, it always seems to start at the top.
Yeah, that makes sense. Another random question about, so Sabia, let's see, what is that word? 443, go ahead.
I was just saying you can find another hem S on page 1, line 2. If you want to look at another one.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's do that. I mean, since we're already there.
Right.
1, line 2. This document is so much fun.
Yeah, it is cool.
You can't quite see the corner there.
Look at that. Oh, but it's chopped off, damn it.
Okay.
Oh, exactly the part we need to see is right where it's missing. Right at the top right corner. Son of
It does clarify that the top left is 2 different strokes. I mean, I don't know
Yeah.
which one was first, but
Oh, the next one is chopped off. Oh, and then we got line 2.9 or page 2, line 9.
Why do I want to sing a Bible?
Ooh,
Right next to the
Oh,
red.
page 2, line 9. Look at that.
There it is. Yep.
That's top. Oh, Aaron.
Oh
look
yeah,
at
that's
that.
interesting.
that looks a lot
It looks
more
like
like the later
one, doesn't
one,
it?
the page
Yeah,
4 one.
yeah. And they've emphasized more of the dot in the middle of the S or Z. So that's interesting.
So here we spelled out, you're right. Something like this, right?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 5. We're gonna get our hieratic stroke order application one day.
Right? That'd be so cool.
All right. 3.5 is another one. If you want to look at another one.
On a roll, 3.5. Now it's gonna prove everything wrong we said before.
There it is. Nope, that looks.
oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's a flake. It's a flake.
Oh, yeah.
Little break here though.
Yeah.
So that could also mean
I mean, it does
Like
still
that
start at
is?
the top, and I want to say that maybe it would curve down. 3 could be next, but yeah, I don't know.
this here makes me think it was 1, 2, 3, just because of the
Okay.
little edge.
Okay.
Otherwise, it would look more like this, right? It would be more rounded.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But I could be wrong. Both are still possible.
Hmm.
So if this is if that's part of 1,
Hmm.
or if that is still, or if that's another one, because if you look at that, that looks just like this.
Yeah,
Transposed
right.
over here.
Yeah.
Right.
But then again, if you were to, with your writing implement, which is going to look something like, I don't know, can't do that here? Why not? Oh, that's interesting. I have no diagonal brushes, but that's a pity. Now, in any case, if you imagine something diagonal going this way, and then you suddenly went down, you would get the exact same shape. So
Yeah, like you can, if you push up a tiny bit, you can leave the serif there and
exactly. It's just like you do here, right? It's like
without lifting the brush, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Hard to say. We probably need to look at a few more examples to say definitively which way it goes.
Hmm.
Does anybody know the glyph number? Oh wait, this may actually work by, you can search by phonetic, I think. Is it, yeah, it's Chem. So,
Is it emphatic H?
yes.
In 42.
Oh, you beat
Ooh,
me.
whoa.
Yeah, wow.
So that seems to suggest separate,
Mhm.
just because you have things like this where
Right.
there's
Mhm.
a separate stalk. Here, I would say you can't tell, but then if you look at this again, that looks like two. Hmm. Okay, then, yeah. Let's say verdict is dumb, dumb, dumb.
Yeah. I like that.
And then go down. Cool.
Nice. Thank you.
Anytime. That's what we're here for.
Should we go through the hieratic for the sentence that we did today?
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I interrupted you. You had another question.
I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, we can go through.
All right, Kevin, wanna go?
Oh, I think Kevin was suggesting we go through the hieratic for the line. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, we look at the hieratic for what we did today.
Okay, then let's do that.
Let's see if there's anything.
But saw
I
is
think
really
that
weird.
so much of this is in red. It's the largest
Yeah, it's hard to see.
sentence
Yeah.
introduction we've ever had. That's all in
Yeah.
red.
Hmm.
And the red was just for emphasis to kind of say, pay attention to this thing. This is cool.
I think it's to just mark the beginning of chapters type thing.
Okay.
I think the same. It's more like a heading, basically, their way of making a bold title.
Okay.
So this was all easy, but then what comes next?
Yeah, I agree with
found-
Ralph.
I found the
think
saw
that
confusing.
saw is weird. It bears no relationship to whatever the glyph looks like in my mind, but you know,
Would agree. Looks very different.
I am a non-Egyptian person looking back in time.
Is it Za? Is that it? Nope, that doesn't do it. Ish. Now we need a glyph number. Word back. Can just go by that if it's in English. No. Yes, you have.
It's
Mhm.
it's sa. That's all I know. Sorry.
AA18.
Yep, AA18. You beat me by 1 second, Ralph.
AA18?
AA18, yes. That's right. There we go.
So that's the thing. That's the way it goes.
Okay. So it's like a reed leaf with an extra hook on the top.
Sort of, yeah. Left curling though, not right curling. Or rather, I think what you do is probably this. Resume share. What?
And ultimately it's a toggle switch, right? Or a roll of toilet paper.
Ouch.
Yep.
Okay, great point though. You're right. That one is unusual. Not unusual, but that one you need to learn. That's not obvious. So something like this. Or maybe the serif comes right away. And you put the little stroke on there. Determinative. This looks normal. This looks normal. The D is hard to read, but it's there. Okay, this here becomes an act of faith. I don't see it.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Like
I'm
I can
really-
believe the T is there, but the canal thing, it's just
Right, that seems to be it here, but
Mm-mm.
like I said, act of faith. The one is nice,
Yeah, that seems normal.
and then the in is normal, so that's all good. The little house here takes some getting used to. And the second one, you really have to know what that is.
Yeah.
The T on top of a house.
Uh-huh.
Our third.
Yeah, it's so interesting. So in the doomed prints, the hair is really different. It's much more of a stacked set of just like almost like our plural strokes, but here it seems much more consistent of the face is it's almost like the negative sign as well, like the
Oh, I see what you mean. You mean this one?
negative hands. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Oh, more like this, yeah. Yeah, you're right. I mean, normally he does this. He writes this, and then he writes a big stroke next to it if he wants to write another as the face. Let me see if he does that later. No, here he does the whole thing. He writes the face, the little R underneath, and then maybe I misremember. Maybe that's not what he does. Maybe he really always does this. Face, R underneath, and then in this case, there's no determinative stroke next to it.
This is, maybe it's because it's being used differently. Here it's being used as in the first, the conjugation.
It's part of her name. It's not the preposition
Sure.
or the noun.
No, it's part of the verbal conjugation, right?
This one here, no, it's the name.
That's part of Hathor. So the one later in the sentence is part of the conjugation, but
Oh yeah. You're right.
Now, the
I have a
interesting
bunch
thing
of them in
about-
this line.
Yeah.
There's like 4 of them in this line.
yeah,
Just
all
in
of a
this line.
sudden after never putting them in.
Oh, you're right, yeah.
It's right there. Yep.
This one right here.
Now, none of these in the Gardner characters, none of them have R underneath. Are we sure that is an R and not just part of the her when he's writing it on its own?
That's a good point, because I think it, quote unquote, etymologically, or I shouldn't say etymologically, but like graphologically or paleographically, I guess is the word, that is an R originally, but at this point I'm diffused. So you're right. Do you want to treat that as a single sign her, or do you want to treat that as her with an integrated R?
Yeah.
To say. Hard to say honestly. Side note though, did you guys note? I mean, Hathor, the name is House of Horus, right? This should be a Horus bird, but it isn't.
Right. Yeah.
Spelling that phonetically.
Yeah. Sometimes they spell Horus with road too.
With a what?
Really?
Interesting.
With road.
Yeah.
With way.
With,
Oh, sure.
Yeah. The boxy thing.
the boxy thing. What's the boxy thing?
It looks like a little road, like a rectangle with a little triangle and 2 triangles.
With the little bushes along the side.
Yeah,
bushes,
bushes along
exactly.
the side. Yeah, like
N31
Yeah.
is the one I'm thinking of.
Road. M31? Okay, what's M31?
You're gonna know it the second you see it.
Yeah, it's like in the name of what?
N
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. This one?
N31 with an
N is in Nancy.
yes.
Oh, okay.
That one.
Yeah.
Why would you spell Horus with that?
Now
I
I think that might be really old. I think Horus just meant God at one time, and it meant something that's really far away. And so road is sometimes representative, and it's the same pronunciation too. So,
But road is Wa.
it can also be pronounced her.
Huh. Cool. I had no idea. Very interesting. Huh. Okay. Hey, we're almost running out of time. Should we continue here next week? Actually, we are running out of
So
time.
cool.
We're out of time, so yeah.
Yeah. I think there are a few more things here to get to, so let's do that next time. But yeah.
sadly, I will not be joining you next week.
Oi.
So don't have any fun without me.
We won't.
Just
Be
get
very
bogged
well.
down in one little tiny thing so you don't make too much progress. I can't. bear it.
We'll talk about the hieratic from this week for the entire time. Don't worry.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, guys. See you next week.
All right.
Take
Bye.
care.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.